Hello STISD parents. We welcome you to the next segment of STISD Connections. My name is Mir Ali, and I'm an 8th grade student at Rising Scholars Academy of South Texas. Today you will meet Mr. Adan Montalvo and Mr. Jonathan Ybarra, District Wellness Specialists. Both of them are excited to share information regarding stress management for teens. Hello, Mr. Montalvo.
Hello.
And hello, Mr. Ybarra.
Hello.
I want to formally thank you all for being with us today. It's that time of the year again when students are preparing for state exams and final exams. These times can be truly stressful for us students. So that is precisely why I have prepared a series of questions for you two. So right off the bat, what is stress and what causes stress?
Well, stress is a natural, normal reaction that our body has, and it responds in stress to any kind of demand or threat that it perceives. Stress is simply a reaction to what we call triggers that disturb our physical and mental or emotional well-being. Situations that and pressures that cause these triggers are what we call stressors. And anything that puts high demands on us can be considered a stressor. For example, for our students, like you mentioned, this is a time where a lot of homework puts a lot of stress on the students, projects due, exams, getting ready for finals or midterms, things like that. And also there's personal stressors, family problems, relationship problems, friendship issues, those types of things. So stress is a normal, natural part of how our body reacts to these types of things.
Yes. Now, are there any specific signs of stress?
Yes, there's several signs for stress, and I'm going to break it down to you in 4 different components. We have cognitive signs, we have emotional, we have physical, and we have behavioral signs. For example, for cognitive signs, it's poor judgment, loss of memory, poor concentration, or when you worry a lot. For emotional, it's when you become very moody, you become easily angered. And then you have the physical part. The physical part could be like nausea, dizziness, vomiting. So those are some signs of stress. It just depends on the individual, of course. Everybody reacts to stress differently. But those are just kind of so you can have an idea what type of stress you're dealing with.
Is there such thing as a good stress and a bad stress? And if so, what are the differences?
Well, yes, there is good stress and bad stress, if you can call them that. Stress within your comfort zone is stress that can help you perform under pressure. Like, for example, when you're going to take some exams, when you're studying for a test, or you're finishing up a project, it's kind of a stressor. It motivates you to do your best also, the good stress. Even sometimes it can keep you safe from dangerous situations. But when stress becomes overwhelming, when it starts to damage your moods, damage or interfere with your relationships, with your friendships, with your performance, at that time, you may be looking at, I guess, the bad sort of stress. And it can also lead to serious problems mentally, mental health problems, emotional problems, even physical problems, if this stress is not dealt with appropriately or in healthy ways.
What is the difference between middle school students experiencing stress and high school students experiencing stress?
Pretty much the difference is the stressors that they're dealing with. I think at the high school level, your upperclassmen are worried or stressed about, college applications, college scholarships, what university they're going to attend. Rather at the middle school level, you have your 7th graders that are incoming 7th graders. It's a new school, a new environment. It might be a bigger school, and of course the curriculum might be a little harder than what they're used to. And at the 8th grade level, you have kids who are worried about going into high school. They're worried about, how much homework they're going to have. It's going to be a bigger school, a lot more kids, a different environment for them as well. So the difference is the stressors that they're dealing with. Like I mentioned, the high school is more kind of getting ready for college, while at the middle school is kind of like getting adjusted to the middle school level and preparing to go into the high school level.
When is stress a serious problem? And what should an individual do about it?
Well, stress can become a serious problem, as I was mentioning earlier. And when the stress is consistent, you've tried to do different things to help alleviate the stress, to cope with the stress, and the stress is just too overwhelming for too long a period of time. We look at the frequency and the duration of the stress, and also the impact on the person's overall everyday performance and their functioning. You should try to use coping skills and try to manage the stress early on before it can become dangerous.
Do you guys have any tips on handling stress and what we can use to keep stress from getting worse?
Yes, as Mr. Ybarra mentioned, the healthy coping techniques are some tips that anybody can use to deal with stress. It can be anything as far as listening to music, staying active, whether it's playing sports, going for a walk, taking a jog, reading a book. If you're more into crafts, or artistic kind of, you can draw, you can paint. Those are what we call healthy coping techniques. Of course, everybody's different. Everybody has different, hobbies and things that they enjoy. So it depends on what works for you best. But as far as tips, we always encourage our students to stay active, to relax, and not take life so seriously at times too. Be able to laugh and enjoy the moment. Because while you're going through this, you are going to experience stress at some point in your life. But if you know how to deal with it and how to cope with it, things will be okay.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Montalvo and Mr. Ybarra, for answering all of our questions and providing such awesome tips.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
You're welcome. That concludes our segment on stress management for teens. We hope you found this discussion informative and helpful. Please feel free to visit our district website, that's www.stisd.net, and each of our high school web pages for more information on exam dates.